Welcome back to Retro Racer. I forgot to record a intro, so we'll just go straight into a time lapse. Here you can see I'm just welding in the last section of the floor to rocker sill floor section there. We had visitors this morning, so I sort of lost track of what I was doing and forgot to record the minor fabrication of that little floor section there. So that swage there, that step, is reasonably well duplicates what the factory floor section looked like, and I carried it down all the way from the front there through to this last section that I just put in, and about here it terminated and went out, because see, the floor section goes down into there, and then this section curves down around and welds onto the floor as well. So that's same as factory thickness, 0.8, and I'll refer to it once again as zinc aluminum. It's that sort of zinc coated material, and welded in with 1.0 gassless or flux cored wire. It welded in pretty well. I paid a lot of attention to wire wheeling the old floor and that section in there. I rust treated that 3 times and then wire wheeled it all off, and then the underside of the floor too. So it welded a lot better today, because I've always had trouble welding onto the original floor section. So as I said, I just spent the extra time, and it seems to have paid off. So I just welded that a little bit colder than normal, actually. With the 1.0 millimeter flux core, I welded it at 95 amps and the corresponding dial position on the voltage on my machine. As I've said previously, I can't see what the voltage setting is on my US dollar $35 machine. It just doesn't have that capability, unfortunately. So the next one I'll do is I'll do this section here, carry it back out to the sill there, and I'll put a heavy coat of zinc weld through primer inside, just because I've managed to clean that up nicely, so just to protect that. And then whilst I'm here, I'll just try and gently move the camera around. That line that you can see there, I'll just zoom in a little. Based on the measurements that I took off the old section, that's where this throttle mount should be. The center of it there should be on that line, and with the 2 end lines it should sit there. So whenever I hold it in place with that, I might actually just go around and leave the camera running, and I'll edit out the gap of me walking around. I'll just explain it a little better as to what happens if I were to put it back in that position. So if I put this there, I actually have to force it into that position. It doesn't want to be there. The pedal box is partially bolted in, but it is in the correct position. So the first thing is that it doesn't sit properly. The trunnion on the back of the pedal is only halfway on to the pivot rod on the linkage, on the throttle pedal linkage. And just when I get here, it starts to bind up and starts wanting to twist around towards me. It wants to do this. But not only that, I'll just put it back on again. When I get to about there, it loads up. Just put it back in that position, loads up and then goes over center and then goes again, and then it doesn't want to come back. And I always had trouble when I was driving the car that I couldn't heel and toe properly. It's just an old practice from racing that I enjoy doing on the twisty tight roads around the back of the village here. Nothing fast, just I always enjoyed doing that correctly. So then I also looked at, because you've got the adjustable throttle stop down there, I'm hoping that the camera's in the right position to see it. And then I looked at the witness marks on the back of the pedal, and it shows that the throttle stop has been contacting there in the past. Now, I even kept the old floor section and double checked it, trying to work out what mistake I've made. But it keeps on saying that that's where it should be. So I would say that at some time in the past, that floor section had been replaced, and the throttle mounting bracket, that one there that I've shown earlier in the videos when I cleaned the rust off it, was refitted in the wrong position. It'd be interesting to see if any other guys doing this would be interested in taking a measurement from there to that swage line for me. But it doesn't matter, I'm just going to put it where it works. So it wants to be there, right on that weld line, which is a little unfortunate, but I can live with it. And then I get a nice, beautiful, consistent, smooth pedal operation. Fully returns by itself, only with this tiny little spring up here. It's not connected, there's nothing under the bonnet at the moment. So that's where I'll be putting it. And I did manage to find these replacement bushings online here in Thailand, because that one side there is flogged out. And even just by holding that in the correct position, it didn't alter the problem that we're having there. So yeah, it's concerning. I took the time to measure it up in the hope that it'd be going back in the right place, but it's obviously not the right place. That's where it wants to be to work. So that repair's all done, and I've even flattened it off a little bit with the large belt sander, just so I could give it a wipe down and edge prime. And before I did that, of course, off camera, I had to put the camera on charge for a while, or the phone on charge for a while, so I just took care of that throttle mount as well at the same time. That position, whether it's right or wrong, that's where the pedal likes it to be. So finally, we're getting on to the last couple of repairs. From the outside of the car, I have to weld that top of that rocker panel or sill back on, and I'll put some more zinc in there or whatever. Well, it's going to get cavity waxed afterwards anyway as well. And then there's two more rust repairs. There's this one here. Just light it up to make it a bit easier to see instead of putting the camera out of focus. So something like that through there, bit of a triangle shape. And then I had a look, I'll just take you in for a close-up. Just while I was cleaning up, there's a little dot there, there's a hole, and there's some rust. So that material was only 0.8, so I might as well cut that out while I'm here. So hopefully nearing the end. I had a lazy day yesterday, and today being Friday, I've been right into it. So I'll cut that one major one out for now, and then that will probably be about it, as it's actually 5:15 already, so I'll sneak in another 15 minutes of noise before I finish up for the day. My phone just crashed for the first time ever. I'll probably have to clear some memory out. It was just a time lapse of me belt sanding these spot welds off the damaged chassis section. I think I captured that part there, and then cutting that chassis section out. I just put a new wheel in just so it could reach down around the corners here, and then I could jump under the car and cut this bit out. So had the same repair on the other side from memory. There's that little pool of rust there that I need to fix from some water that got in the car when I was washing it. So that's an easy one, and I've obviously I've got away from all the rust damage and discovered nice clean metal, so that will weld back in nicely in this section here. I'll just see if I can turn the camera around and face it towards me to have a look at that. It gets a bit awkward doing it this way, but I can wire wheel that out in the morning and give it a rust treatment as well. So it's a fairly straightforward repair compared to everything else I've been doing. It's Monday afternoon on the 4th of May. I've been chasing parts all morning for this car, so now I'm just going to finally settle in. So off camera I cleaned up, got rid of the rubber off this chassis section here. That was in there, that's rusted out, and we've got good metal all the way around. And I've just put some tape on it, which I'll remove and put it on the bench, and then I'll probably roll this one here under my thumb. Pretty clean hands for somebody that's been working in a car for 6 months. That's because I wear the TIG gloves all the time, and the leather gloves just pull all the dirt out of your hands. I know one old guy that runs a tyre and suspension place here was very surprised at the condition of my hands when I showed him my hands after showing him all the pictures of what I've been doing to this car. I just cleaned out the chassis with the wire wheel and the Draga rust treatment or rust remover. I'm imagining that it might be something like the CRC product that has been getting great reviews lately, because it's not hard on the hands or anything, and it doesn't generally turn the rust black like all the other rust converters do. It actually just removes the rust. I could have spent a bit more time. I'll just zoom you in. Ideally, I should have given it a nice thick coat before lunch, but I just got back from lunch, and that's close enough for now. So I just need to massage the little chassis repair section in a little bit now to fit, and then you can follow me welding it in. You would have seen on the time lapse that I cut this bit out because I could see some rust under here. I thought, well, I'd better cut this out and have a look. And sure enough, I found a bit more. I'll take you underneath. So excuse the shaky video, I'm just filming this lying on my back under the car. So this is the part that I was going to repair, and that fits in something like that. I haven't cut it to fit yet, but that's roughly where it goes. So I think I'll keep this piece, but what I'll do is I will cut along here. Might even use the belt sander there to get rid of that, and cut across here and down, continue this cut to there, because that's all good material from what I can see, and then make that section up separately. The step in the chassis there kind of ends here, so I can easily, probably won't even need to use the roller. I can probably just knock that in on this new Z section that I'll make up for here. Sorry about not holding the camera in the right spot. So that Z section is what I'm referring to, and I can just knock that little beginning in of that bead line there. Whilst we're lying under here looking at this, I just made contact with a E30 parts specialist down in Bangkok, and he said when he saw the repairs I did, where I made all the panels myself for the chassis repairs, he goes, "Oh no, we sell those whole sections here," in Thai, of course, and he was showing me pictures that he's quartered out of cars that were written off for whatever other reason, and I could have just saved myself so much time knowing that he's got those complete sections available rust free. Oh well, part of the journey, I suppose. So the chassis repairs are done, and then you would have seen in the time lapse that I went under the car and just quickly welded all of that up because I wanted to zinc coat that and not burn it. Now I also did a rust treatment up in under there with a long fine brush this morning, and then I cleaned it all out once again, and I also kept on inverting the can all the time to spray as much zinc as possible up underneath and up through there a little towards the front as well. And as I've always said in the past, that will get cavity wax treatment once all these repairs are done. So I've been making this one up, and I did the paper tracing trick, but I paper traced onto the transmission mount doubler because I couldn't feel that through the paper. It's just an oversight. So unfortunately I'm going to be short, but there is a sliver there that I cut off, which will unfortunately, there's a sliver there that I'll have to graft back in. This is my last piece of 0.8. I've only got 1mm sections after this, so that will work out okay. So I rolled that bead first, as you would have seen, and then quite easily just put it in the vise loosely and just fold it by hand, and it seems to be coming pretty close. So I'll flatten that out a little bit here. But first I'm going to go and get a drink, and then I'll start slicing this in and put a bit more of a bend here. That's tacked in now, and unfortunately I had to knock it down a little bit there so it meets the repair section that I put in underneath. But what I will do is I'll massage that down a little bit more with a dolly, just to get that to touch nicely underneath. And I'll redo those two plug welds. They were a bit ordinary, they burnt away the 0.8. I'm still using the 1.0mm flux cord wire, and as I said, I made the tracing error, and there's actually the piece that I cut out from there. So I'll massage that one in. That's already got zinc weld through on it, and then because I sliced into that chassis doubler mount a little bit there, I'll just make sure the weld burns right through and joins all three pieces together. That's it for today. Unfortunately, I've got to head out shortly, so we'll see you in the morning. G'day, it's Thursday the 7th of May. I had my usual Wednesday off because I go out socialising that day. So you would have just seen me welding that up. I actually missed that spot there and probably have to put a bit more weld over that one. It doesn't look right to me. It's 1mm flux cord, welding 0.8mm to 0.8mm there as well. So it's slow going, with a MIG welder with solid wire and gas, and using probably 0.8mm wire, which I think is 30 thou in Imperial. You would have this welded in probably 5 to 10 minutes, I'd imagine. This took me 23 minutes around there, and I still have to do that little infill from that mistake I made paper tracing the other day. And then I've got about probably just as much time in cleanup after that as well. So for you guys considering doing your rust repairs on a budget like I am, with making your own sheet metal sections or forming them rather, and then welding with flux core or gassless wire, you certainly can, but be prepared. It's going to take longer. It's not going to be as nice to look at, and it's going to take a lot more cleanup. But it certainly can be done. Apologies on that last time lapse. It should have been about 45 seconds long in time lapse. Now I ran out of wire, and then I noticed I quite often check my playbacks that it was extremely blurry, and I think it's because I touched the lens with either my thumb or a dirty glove. So I'll make sure that that's condensed right time, just so you don't have to put up with looking at a blurry video. So anyway, that's where I'm up to now, and I've decided, just being a glutton for punishment, that I've put the remaining roll of, or the remainder of the roll of the 0.8mm or 30 thou gassless wire in. Even though I've complained about welding with it before, I'm just determined to give it another go. So with that wire, I'll finish off that weld there, and the missing weld just there, and then I'll do that repair with it just there as well. I'll have to replace all the lens protectors on my Samsung. They're covered in welding spatter and it's starting to blur the actual picture quality. So around there, that was all 0.8 Sumo flux cord wire, and it just got too much. It got the better of me, so I swapped it out for a roll of generic 1.0 millimeter, and it just became so much nicer. The 0.8 welding looks like bird shit. There's no better way of explaining it than that. It's never nice welding thin stuff together with flux cord wire at the best of times, but that was just shocking. Right, so I think there's enough there for a video now, and plus I really need to replace these lenses. I'll just see if I can get a better focus now. No, it's very milky, these lens protectors rather, so I'll call this a complete video, edit together tonight and upload it, and come back with fresh lens protectors. Looks like they're a bit of a sacrificial item whilst I'm using the camera to film welding close up. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.